Erstens mal ist es eine sehr gewichtige Ausstellung für uns hier und ich hoffe auch für denjenigen, dem sie gewidmet ist. Und deswegen begrüße ich jetzt an allererster Stelle erstmal ganz herzlich Gerd Rothmann. Wo ist er denn? Dann darf ich ganz herzlich begrüßen Glenn Adamson aus New York City vom Museum of Art and Design, der die, ich sage jetzt mal, Festrede halten wird. Und als dritten Programmpunkt darf ich Sven-Ake Johansson aus Berlin ankündigen. Er wird auf ausdrücklichen Wunsch von Gerd Rothmann die Ausstellung mit einer Musikperformance eröffnen. Das machen wir normalerweise auch nicht. Affären, eine Werkübersicht von Gerd Rothmann. Ich bin natürlich in den letzten Wochen und Monaten immer wieder mal gefragt worden, was hat es denn mit diesen Affären auf sich? Ist da auch Schmuck zu sehen in dieser Ausstellung oder geht es ausschließlich um die ehemaligen Freundinnen von Herrn Rothmann? Sie haben sich schon ein Bild davon machen können, dass es mehr als genug Schmuck von Gerd Rothmann in dieser Ausstellung zu sehen gibt. Wer Gerd Rothmann kennt, seine Freunde hier in München, seine Galeristen, seine Sammler, seine Liebhaber hatten vielleicht schon mal das Glück, bei ihm zu Hause sein zu können, das Ambiente zu sehen, in dem er lebt, in dem er arbeitet, auch die wunderbare Werkstatt in der Jahnstraße. Und diese ganze Stimmung war für uns hier sehr, sehr anregend und auch, ich denke, für Gerd Rothmann, der jetzt fast ein Jahr lang an der Ausstellung gearbeitet hat. Und irgendwo ist der Geist des Gerd Rothmanns und seiner kreativen Arbeit und der Auseinandersetzung mit der Kunst auch in diese Räume eingezogen. Von ihm stammt das Konzept, wie es ausgestellt wird, von ihm stammen die Möbel, die Vitrinen, das ist alles von ihm selbst gebaut, selbst entwickelt. Fleißig und an seiner Seite unglaublich mitgearbeitet hat. Natürlich noch jemand, den ich auf alle Fälle erwähnen möchte, es ist Felicitas Rahl-Wirz. Sie hat hier auch ganz kräftig mit Hand angelegt. Ganz herzlichen Dank. Sie haben es sicher schon gesehen oder wenn nicht, werden Sie es noch sehen. Sie finden hier auf knapp 400 Quadratmetern. Ich habe es nicht gezählt, ich kann es Ihnen nicht sagen, wie viele Stücke es sind, aber es ist eine ganze stattliche Anzahl. Werke von Gerd Rothmann von 1968 bis in die unmittelbare Gegenwart. Dort hinten in der Ecke, in der kleinen Vitrine, ist das jüngste Stück. Es ist ein Armreif, ein goldener Armreif. Abgebildet sind seine Finger auf diesem Stück. Im Untergeschoss sind dann frühe Stücke aus den 1968er Jahren zu sehen, als Gerd Rothmann noch nicht für die Art von Schmuckkunst bekannt war, mit der wir ihn jetzt oder mit dem in die Schmuckwelt und die Schmucksammler verbinden, mit den Körperabformungen, mit den Fingerabdrücken. Es sind frühe Arbeiten aus den 68er Jahren in Acrylglas, ganz eindeutig einer bestimmten künstlerischen Epoche zuzuordnen. Und das freut uns auch ganz besonders, dass wir diese Arbeiten in der retrospektiven Schau jetzt hier zeigen können. Hanni Westcott hat in einem Artikel über ihn geschrieben, es dürfte in der Ausstellung auch für eingefleischte Rothmann-Kenner einiges zu entdecken sein, was man noch nicht gesehen hat. Und das glaube ich auch. Und ich hoffe, Sie gehen dann auf Entdeckungsreise, um sich das alles anzusehen.
Sehr geehrter Herr Lösche, sehr geehrter Herr Rothmann, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren. Ich freue mich sehr, hier in München zu sein, anlässlich dieser wichtigen Retrospektive und Ausstellung, die dem Werk der Künstlers Gerd Rothmann gewidmet ist. Wie Sie alle gut wissen, ist Herr Rothmann einer unserer bedeutendsten gegenwärtigen Juweliere. Sein Werk zeigt uns, dass die tiefste Einsicht in der Kunst oft durch die engste Fokussierung kommt. Seit über 40 Jahren hat er ein Gesamtwerk entwickelt, das die Aufmerksamkeit auf die Berührung zwischen Mensch und Schmuck und auch auf die Verbindung zwischen Menschen durch Schmuck gelenkt hat. Das werde ich im Folgenden ausführlicher auf Englisch besprechen. Zunächst aber möchte ich etwas über die Museum of Arts and Design, auch MAD genannt, sagen. MAD wurde vor genau 60 Jahren als Amerikas führendes Museum für Handwerk gegründet. Über die letzten 20 Jahre haben wir uns vor allem auf zeitgenössischen Schmuck konzentriert. In dem Museum ist eine Galerie ausschließlich diesem Medium gewidmet und ungefähr ein Drittel der Sammlung besteht aus Schmuck. Ich freue mich sehr, dass unsere langseitige Kuratorin dieser Abteilung, Ursula Neumann, Ursula? Ursula, ist hier, der die Sammlung bei MAD zu verdanken ist. Und ich freue mich sehr, dass heute Abend sie dabei sein kann. Ich würde auch gern Herrn Stefan Friedemann erwähnen, der die Ornamentum Gallery in Hudson, New York leitet. Ich möchte mich auch bei Herrn Friedemann und dem Team der Galerie Handwerk München für die Einladung bedanken. Sie werden erleichtert sein zu hören, dass ich ab jetzt auf Englisch sprechen und versuchen werde, die Ideen hinter dem Werk Gerd Rothmanns zu erläutern. And one last thank you to my twin brother here, Peter Adamson, for help with the German translation. So now a few words about Gerd Rothmann's work in English. We use the term smartphone in English all the time, and it's of course not only phones that we call smart because of their technological apparatus. We call our refrigerators smart sometimes. We talk about smart cars. We have smart thermometers controlling the temperature in our house. But I often wonder, how smart are these things really? They can do a lot of things. They're wonderful. They can help us find the gallery if we're lost in Munich. They can help us translate a little bit from German. They can introduce us to the work of artists that we have never known through Google image search, and connect us in many, many other ways. And we all know these powerful new tools that have come into our lives very well. But if you think about it, a smartphone, and I'll use mine again as a prop, a smartphone, although very immaculately and very precisely designed, is actually not an object that one can connect with in a very specific way. It is almost like a black portal, frictionless and impersonal, into an implied infinite world. And if you compare a smartphone to any old traditional object, let's for the moment call it a dumb object, in the sense that it does not speak back to us, so dumb in the sense of being mute, like a chair, or a table, or a podium, or a set of earrings, or a bracelet, or a necklace. I think we can ask the question, where does the greater concentration of human intelligence reside? Is it not in those analog objects, in those traditional objects, that have been developed not over decades, but over centuries, and in some cases over millennia, through the slow, patient, socially embedded process of experimentation and discovery in all sorts of different materials, for all sorts of different uses, by all sorts of different people, and for all sorts of different people. And that is the long process of discovery that has brought us to the 21st century. It is not smart technology that has brought us this far. Of course, it is analog technology, which is all that we had up until recently. And I think it's so important now, in the 21st century, that we remember the extraordinary concentration of value and meaning and insight and simple human energy and wisdom that is represented by these objects. When I look at the work of Gerd Rothmann, what I see is the production, the art of a man who is hugely alive to this concentration. I said in my German introduction that he shows us that sometimes the deepest paths in art are carved by those who have the tightest focus. And although you will see many different ideas in this exhibition over an extraordinary length of time, over 40 years, and a wide range of influences from outside the world of jewelry, one of the things that I think has made Rothmann a true innovator in this field, drawing from American conceptual art, drawing from pop and op art, drawing from the worlds of poetry and literature, and bringing all of these insights into jewelry. To me, what makes him truly remarkable is this sense of focus and concentration, what he's able to bring into every single object that he makes. And of course, much of that has been based around this single idea of casting the body and introducing the flesh, skin, and therefore the sensual experience, the bodily experience of his potential wearer into the jewelry object itself. This is, if you'll forgive me for introducing a theoretical term, this is something that people who study semiotics would call the index. An index is a sign referencing some other thing that is actually in some way made by that sign. So if you think of the word foot, for example, the word foot has no absolute relationship to the thing on the end of our leg, nor does in fact a drawing of a foot, but a footprint in the sand is an index of the foot. It's a special kind of sign that is locked in to the thing that it signifies. And this is the medium, you might say, that Gerd Rothmann really works in. Yes, he works in silver and gold and other metals, but what he really works in is indexicality, is the process by which forms, particularly the human form, is impressed into an object in a way that links us back to that human form in a way that is powerful, emotional, certain, secure, direct, simple, clear. I also used another term in my German introduction, which is a word that I love in German and doesn't translate that well into English. The word is Verbindung, which I guess we could translate as connection or link. Yes, just checking with my brother. But Verbindung, even if you don't speak the language, you can hear in that word this sense of being tied together, bound together, in this inextricable way that cannot be unlocked. And to me, that word Verbindung is a beautiful encapsulation of the way that a piece of jewelry by Gerd Rothmann ties you to the sense of the body, the sense of the human body. One thing that's remarkable about the work is that it manages to do that always simultaneously in a manner that is both specific and general. It ties you to a specific wearer, to the person whose ear was cast to make a particular piece, or a fingertip, or a nipple, a pair of lips. But it also refers in general to the human body, to bodily experience, to sensuality, to our passage through the world around us, always with the skin as a site of interface. And of course, because Gerd has been brave enough to introduce a register of extreme personal contact into his work, it also reminds us of the way that people's bodies touch one another in moments of love especially, and the way that emotional contact is created through that skin-to-skin touch. Makes you think of the skin of a baby against a parent, perhaps, as well. So some of our earliest experiences that we have before we even have language to process the experience that we are having, these also seem to be summed up to me in Gerd Rothmann's pieces. So this concept of Verbindung, to me, summarizes Rothmann's ability to show how we connect to a piece of jewelry, but also how we connect to one another through a piece of jewelry. Also very impressive in the work is the way that he controls both positive and negative space as he unveils this set of ideas. And again, he has been working on one idea for a very long time, and it's extraordinary that he's been able to constantly find new possibilities within that single idea. Yes, you have some variations and other ideas, symbolism, language, as I said, are brought into the work, but constantly there's this one narrow furrow that he is plowing. And to me, this idea of positive and negative space, constantly being in conversation with one another, is a very important key to his ongoing process of discovery. So that, for example, we might have an object like the necklace that you can see over here, and you'll see candlesticks downstairs, other pieces which use the same idea, where the metal seems to have been momentarily gripped inside of the hand, then released, and that one moment of squeezing, pressure, has been immortalized, you might say, in the hard metal. Or you might look at a bracelet that is wrapped around the wrist that renders the negative space as the wearer's arm. And so there you have an example of how Rothmann is able to either materialize negative space or work around negative space, but always in this dance around the body, and a constant reference to the body not only as object, but also as an experiencing, sensual, alive thing. So just to conclude my comments and to return to the idea that I began with, if we think of the intelligence that is embedded in these pieces of jewelry that Gerd Rothmann has made, in contrast to the kinds of intelligence that we access through our phone, we can see that in the case of our technological device, what we have is an incredibly potent orchestration of remoteness. The object is made very, very far from where we live, almost certainly, perhaps in a large factory in the south of China, made by people that we don't know and will never know, will never meet, made by people who may be experiencing working conditions that we would prefer not to think about. That phone is then going to come into our lives through transmission and distribution channels that we have no control over, that we are not privileged to access. And then even when it comes into our life, following the moment of consumption and purchase, we are then going to experience the world through further experiences that are remote, that involve these leaps of time and space through the medium of the internet, that are dazzling to us, that are often inspiring, hugely enlightening, and yet always involve some mediation, some distance, physically, yes, and sometimes temporally, but more crucially, some psychological distance between ourselves and the thing that we are accessing. And again, the black, hard, frictionless perfection of the phone as an object seems to me to be, in a sense, the quintessential design expression of that distance. It's like the beginning of 2001, that black monolith, a mysterious thing that tells you nothing, and yet seems to be a portal to everything. Rothmann's work, to me, is the exact antithesis of that. And of course, I'm not accusing him here of being anti-technological. That's not the point that I'm making. What I'm saying is that he is entranced by the moment of contact, the moment of making meaning in ways that are never remote, that have immediacy. And the reason I think that immediacy is so important and profound is because it speaks to something that humans have been experiencing with one another, not for months or years or decades, but for millennia. And it somehow, to me, compresses that history of human experience in a form that one can hold in one's palms. And what an extraordinary and poetic and magical thing to have given to the world. So there are a few thoughts about the work of Gerd Rothmann. I know that we're all very excited to be in the presence of the artist tonight, and I hope that you'll all have a chance to congratulate him on the show individually. But just as I close, I would like to ask you all to join me in thanking him collectively for all that he has done to enlighten us. So, Mr. Rothmann, Herr Rothmann, congratulations on this one.
Druckobjekt vor langer Zeit hergestellt. Dafür jetzt ein musikalisches Stück namens Musical Peace.
Erbsen oder sowas.
Ja.